Welcome, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today we'll be visiting Gotham City with 4 incredibly talented performers from the cast of Batwoman, and now is the time for all of you in our chat room to begin typing in your questions for them. On a special note, we are looking for positive questions that involve this entire panel, and we will not be taking questions about changes in the cast, other than our tremendous excitement at the debut of Javicia Leslie in the role of Batwoman next season. Immediately after this session, you will have the opportunity to talk to them all directly through our private chat options, as well as shop our selection of personalized autograph photos, all of which are available now at GalaxyCon.com. So without further ado, let's bring out today's guests. First, he is an actor and director whose work in front and behind the camera includes The Leftovers, Mother's Little Helper, and The Messengers. Today, he joins us to discuss his role as a member of the Wonderland Gang, Johnny Cartwright, a.k.a. Mouse. Please welcome to the GalaxyCon virtual stage, Sam Littlefield.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
We are well. We are well. Is everything good in your corner of the world?
I mean, it's a pandemic, but yeah, we're alive and kicking.
Right on. Hey, that's doing okay is the new awesome, as someone told me the other day.
Yeah, I would concur for sure.
Indeed. Our next guest, she is an actress and writer whose credits include The Fields, Orange is the New Black, and the series You. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of socialite and owner of the Secret Clinic on Bennett Avenue, Mary Hamilton. Please welcome Nicole Kang.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I know. This is. I'm not sure if this is the new normal, but this is the new right now.
Me and Sam are so close, but so far.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, both of you, for waking up in this early morning for you.
Of course.
Our next guest is an actor, producer, and known for the roles in The Cobblestone Corridor. Here is Johnny and Marvel's Luke Cage, although we're talking about DC stuff today. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of Luke Fox. Please welcome Camrus Johnson.
Camrus Johnson. Oh!
Hi. Hi. I was in the shower. Hello.
How are you doing today, young man?
I'm good. How you doing?
We are all well. Thank you for joining us. You made it in the nick of time.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't run it. I was right here. Nicole, yeah. What's good, man? How we doing?
Oh my God.
Nicole is so disappointed. We just started.
This is gonna be a fun 50 minutes. I can see that right away. And they told me about you. So yeah. And finally, she is an actress whose body of work includes Birds of Prey, Flashpoint, and Lost Girl. Today, she joins us to discuss playing the leader of the Wonderland game. She is known as Beth Kane, aka Alice. Please welcome Rachel Skarsten.
I was trying to get a picture of like Nicole on my phone, and I was gonna like have it here. Oh, that's Hazel. But I was gonna have it here to try and one up Cam, but I couldn't get it fast enough. And I was like, ah! Yeah, hi.
Oh, well, gentlemen and ladies, thank you so much for joining us all on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Again, we look forward to having you live on our stages and getting in front of your fans. But until this time, we are in this format. We are so glad to have you all here. Again, thank you for joining us today. And thank you for being a part of this show. This program, it broke a lot of ground. It has moved the needle socially and culturally. As a longtime geek and as a superhero fan, you are all a part of something that is moving things forward, and I thank you all for your participation in that.
Thank you, man. It means a lot.
Yes. And it's a fun show with costumes and punching and gadgets and yay, fun. What I'd love to do is our team is curating the questions from our audience. I would love to hear from you individually how each of you got on board with this series. And Rachel, why don't we start with you?
Well, actually, who was the first of us to be cast? I think it was Cam and Nicole. You guys were cast. Yeah, because I remember I was testing for the show, and I was so kind of nervous, and I was reading Deadline, which is like the trades paper for our business, and I was always like searching Batwoman, and you guys had got cast, and I went and looked on your Instagrams, and I guess your friends had been celebrating you, and I was like, whoa, so cool. But and then I guess it was Sam after, but so basically, and I've talked about it before, I was sort of down and out, and I hadn't really worked in a year, and I was in LA, and I thought, this isn't working. Maybe I need to do something else with my life. And I thought, I'm gonna go back to Canada. I'm Canadian. I'm gonna regroup and go back for Christmas and then see what the next year holds for me. So I moved I packed up my house and I moved back up to Canada. And literally 2 weeks after getting home, I got the audition for Batwoman. And I just did it with a friend of mine from Rain who was just coming over that day anyway. And I said, hey, do you want to throw down this tape? And we did it together. I didn't really think anything of it. And then everything just moved really, really quickly. And I went through a long kind of testing process. And then, got the part. And then Cam and I were in Vancouver together alone for a really long time before anyone got there.
That was immediately.
So that was it for me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So, all right, Cam, why don't you go ahead since she said you were on there?
Yeah, I'm not sure if me and Nicole have said this in front of an audience before, but me and Nicole knew each other before booking the show, kind of.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny how it all worked. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do TV. I had done a bunch of guest stars here and there and appearances, but I've always been I want to do films kind of guy. So when this opportunity came about, I was like, oh, Luke Fox is a really dope character. So I ended up flying to LA for the callback or the screen test, whatever you want to call it. And I ran into Nicole at the hotel. And I was like, bruh. And she was like, yo. So,
it was really late at night, too. I remember being
late. And I was like, we weren't super, super close, but we were we knew each other. So then we were like, yo, why don't we just run over these lines together? Because our scenes are with one another. So I went to the hotel room. Yeah, we went over the lines together. And then during the callback, it was just a bunch of us all auditioning for the same parts. And it was really comfortable for me and Nicole because we weren't strangers to one another. So we were just go in there and kill it. And she was like, go in there and kill it. So we had each other's backs. We ended up doing it together.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question. Did you guys do the scene that you ran together? Did they happen in the pilot?
Wait, did yours?
Mine was the one where
you're like, don't touch that. It's the Batcave.
I think mine
I
was
love
there was something about you in the Batcave.
It's embarrassing.
I think in mine, Kate Kane had told you that the Batcave existed or something, right?
No, you slipped up.
I slipped up in the audition?
Yeah. No, you slip up in the scene. Your audition was perfect. You slip up in the scene where
I was bad, is what you're saying? I don't know.
You were bad.
Yeah, where you're like, and Bruce Wayne, but it's the similar line, whatever you say, Bruce Wayne is Batman, Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Dang.
And you're like, I'm dead. And that's my impression of you.
The end to the funny story is that we sat beside each other on the plane on the way back to New York, and then our phones were off, obviously. So as we're coming close to landing, Nicole turns her phone on, and she was like, "Why are all my friends texting me congrats?" And then I turned my phone on, and our phones are just so apparently the announcement came out when we were in the air. So when we landed, it was our phones had 100 messages congratulations.
And Cam, I'll never forget, I remember us looking out, we're in this row and we're seeing New York City and we're coming back home, and we had to be so quiet on the plane. So I was shaking in my middle seat because obviously Cam gets the aisle, and
right.
It was so surreal, but we had to suppress our excitement. They're descending, and I was like, "This is the longest landing of a plane that has ever been."
Now, did going into that, did they know you guys were buddies, or did?
Probably not.
I made it very known. I was like, "Yo, that's my dog." So, because during the rap report as the casting director, and I just saw that he's such a friendly dude. So it was funny because when I walked in, I was like, my friend was just in here, Nicole Kang, and he was like, oh, because she's from New York. Oh, of course you know each other. So I was like, yeah, we know each other. We got chemistry, bro. Together, dog.
It's like swimming. Auditioning is so much better if you have an audition buddy.
You know, it helps. It really helps.
True, except if one of you gets a part and the other doesn't. Then
I've been on the losing side of that equation a couple times.
Man.
We all have. Every actor is on the losing side of that equation.
That's showbiz.
Yeah.
You know what I did one time? I told my. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Did I cut you off?
I was just gonna say, like, for nerves and stuff, I remember, like, we were on the lot, like, truly, and we had a weird hour and a half between our tests, and we walked to Central Perk, and we're like walking around the lot, like looking around, and I just remember being like, okay, we're getting coffee, or totally, oh my God, it's Central Perk.
Nice. So Sam, how did this start for you?
Well, I came in later in the show, but it was only supposed to be 2 episodes to begin with, and the sides were kind of written specifically for the audition, and I had no idea what they meant. It was like 1 page of like ribbons, black, like just being as weird as I possibly could. I had no idea what it was. Went in and I just like read it once and left, and then before I knew it, I was up in Vancouver getting hair extensions put in my head and doing a bunch of makeup tests and everything, and then Rachel and I met up in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah, and Sam had the craziest first day on a show that I have ever experienced, and I remember feeling so badly because, you know, there's a new person. We've all been the new kid on the block where you join a show a couple episodes in or a season in, and it's really hard because everybody knows each other and the show sort of has this rhythm and you're just kind of running to try and catch up. And so, you know, I was really hoping everything would go smoothly, but it was the added thing of that we weren't even in Vancouver. We were on location in Chicago. And Sam, I'll let you tell the story because it was just horrifying.
So I did a makeup test up in Vancouver, and then they fly me down to LA, and then they immediately fly me up to Chicago, and then I do a bunch of hair and makeup tests there. And my call time that day was 1 p.m. and we get to set at 1 a.m. And then Rachel and I, that was kind of when Rachel and I would start, you know, like, hi, I'm Sam, da, 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 da. We start filming the scene at 4:30 a.m. and we did Rachel's coverage first. So
because it was like they had to be on the Wayne Tower because they lost that side of the street at a certain time. So they had to film everything this way, and then they were going to turn around and finish on Sam's side. But
then someone got a really good idea that they were going to shoot an insert of Megan Tandy in another scene, and then they were going to come back. And I was supposed to fly out that day at noon. So they're shooting Megan's and they're like, we're not sure if we're going to get to your coverage. And I'm like, what? Then at 6:30 in the morning, when the sun is rising.
The sun's like coming up.
we gotta go. So the sun is rising. There's 2 units. There's first unit and second unit. The second unit crew is shutting it down, like breaking apart, like lighting bridge, everything.
Like there's guys with like mics being like, Mom, move that truck, Bob, move it back. And he's like, yeah, come on, John, move it back. And it's like, beep, 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 beep. And it's so loud. And then there's like a crane coming in and like lifting a car, and it's like, it's like so loud.
That's walking in because they're starting to like open up the street.
I'm so curious what scene, like I like love to see how like amazing it looks on TV.
Oh yeah, it's the one where Sam he has he's sitting outside of Wayne Tower and he's I come to like tell him don't kill Kate. Like he's gonna kill Kate, and I come and I like rest. I give him Pandy and I like rest my head on his shoulder.
It was impressive because it was still really good.
Like, I was just gonna say, it looks like no one's around. It's like quiet.
Sam was brilliant given the circumstances, especially.
ADR the entire scene, so it's all dubbed. And when Rachel and I were doing it, I mean, we couldn't hear each other.
No.
And we got 1.5 takes with the walkie-talkies going off in the middle, and so yeah.
And then no, this is the worst part. They were like, "Don't we need a close-up?" And he's like, the director's like, yeah, we need a close up. And so the guy just like picks up the camera and like moves it closer. And then we start, which is like not normal. And then we start filming. And then the big light that's lighting Sam just turns off because some guy's unplugged it and he starts parting it away. And then the director's like, I guess we're done. Cut. And I just see Sam's face and he was like, I wanted to welcome to Batwoman.
What the hell is this? Yeah.
On that note, I really hope we get a chance to go to Chicago. I loved Chicago.
I know.
Yeah. It was my first time there. I had never been to Chicago in my life. So I actually rode the architecture tour 3 times, but.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I have a picture of us on that architecture tour.
Sorry, I was so surprised.
You were what?
It's a pretty nice guy.
She rode the architecture tour 3 times.
Oh, well,
one time I thought it would be fun to sort of eat, my lunch.
And then the second time.
You just went by yourself?
No, but the third time you guys were going and I didn't want to be left out.
Oh, got it.
I didn't want to admit that I'd seen it before.
That she really loved that architecture tour.
Oh, wow.
and then this is you actually telling us stuff on the architecture tour because you knew every building.
You knew all the info.
I am so embarrassed.
I was saying because the tour guide would say something about a building, and Nicole would be like, "He didn't even mention that building that was made in 1885." And it's so weird that he skipped one of the most important Chicagoan buildings. So strange.
And we were like, oh, okay.
I know.
Weird.
Honestly, Nicole, we're not even listening.
Nicole was like, yeah, that's cool, but that one is solar powered. Super weird.
Well, panelists, on behalf of the Chicago Board of Tourism, I thank you for this portion of our conversation. And our producers let me know that we're good for audience questions, so I'll ask you to roll our first one. And this comes from Jenny, and she wants to know, who was the first person you told when you were cast? Which is interesting, because it seems like the two of you, everybody else in your world knew that.
My best friend, Christopher Shimmerhorn, was the first person I told, because I was with him when I got the call on purpose. Because it felt really good, and I had a feeling that it was coming my way. And my best friend, Chris, loves the CW. So I knew that he would scream louder than I would. So whenever I got the call, I put it on speaker, and whenever they said I got it, he was like, "Ah!" So yeah, Chris is my first friend.
yeah.
Right on. Nicole. Sorry.
Hi.
Wait, let's say it at the same time, Rachel.
Yeah, no, you go.
It was, gosh, I forget. It was like a colder time of year, but I was being put up at the hotel, and I remember the pool was shut down. So I like went out, and there was like an empty pool, and I called my parents.
Nice.
I remember that. I was there.
Yeah, there was a lot of we were having food. I couldn't eat a thing, but there was a lot of, are you sure?
Are you sure?
Now you're sure, right?
No. Did they tell you? Or
Is it positive thinking, or
and then all of a sudden I have doubts. I'm like,
did I get it?
Well, they didn't tell me in person, so but yeah, it's very much my mom.
I told my mom. She's always my first call when something exciting happens, because she's like, she gets so excited about things. So she's my favorite person to call. So I told her.
So this is another superhero show?
Yeah. Like, here we go again.
Are you a bird?
You're the bad guy now? Oh.
No, my mom's never surprised when I play a bad guy. She told me, she was like, you play the redeemable bitch very well. Yeah, she's like you're a bitch, but I'm sorry, I don't know if I can swear on this.
Yeah,
you're redeemable. There's hope for you.
She's so classy.
We had the Star Trek guys in here a few weeks ago, and it was a barrage of F-bombs. So you guys are good for whatever.
Okay, good. All right, we'll keep it PG.
Not
Sam,
that
how about you?
Much, but...
I don't remember. I think I was just so tripped out when I got because again, the sides were like black, cauldron, dream, vision.
Did they just give you a list of words to say?
I was like, what? I got what? You know, it was a weird sort of shock haze kind of thing. I can't remember anything I did that day.
That's so amazing because I feel like you had such a clear vision of who Mouse was in this really awesome like way like from the get-go. So just even being on our side, like I feel like when Mouse was introduced, I was like, whoa, like you know, you had a good idea of who Mouse was. So
well, thank you. I didn't. It was a learning process along the way.
Yeah.
Acting. Jenny, thank you. That was a great question to start us off with.
Jenny.
Woo!
And here's one from Mary. Did you read any comics to help prepare for your individual roles?
No.
Yeah. Well, Cam had read all the comics ever, but when we got there for the pilot, him and I actually went to the comic book store. I think Nicole, you went also to another comic book store, and we just basically bought everything that they had. And it was funny because when we were there, I asked, or one of us asked, I can't remember the guy who was working there, do you have any Batwoman? And his response, do you remember, Kim? He was like, oh, well, you know, we don't have a lot of it now, but they're making a show about it. So I think it's going to get really popular.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have more. And we were like, we're on the show. And he like didn't believe us.
That's so cute.
He was so nice, and he like ordered some for us too. He was like,
Yeah.
pick it up, and he gave it to us for free, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And working on a DC show is so dope because DC would just send us whatever comics we want.
Everything.
Our hookup,
Yeah,
and she made sure we knew what we were talking
Everything.
about.
Yeah.
absolutely.
It was really great.
So then I started asking for
Good.
info that I didn't need. I was like, what about that character that's never going to be in Batwoman? Can I please get that comic just for reference? And they're like, yeah, take it. Yeah, I read nearly every Luke Fox comic I could get. And I love the Luke Fox comics so much. And I read a lot of the Batwoman comics too, especially Elegy, which is what a lot of the influence comes from for the show.
Yeah.
Very much, very much. Sam, did you peruse anything?
No.
That's
Well,
fine.
Yeah.
John Emmett gave me some comics that DC had given him. And that wasn't before. That was, again, everything just happened so quickly from the time that I got here to the time we went to Chicago. I just had, and so it was just like.
But also, Mouse was a made up character, right? He wasn't in the comics. So
No.
it was,
Yes.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
a really cool part. I feel like our writer's room like always talks about being like, whoa, like we've written this character and now like Mouse will be integrated into
This has always been the strength of the CW, the Arrowverse, as it is that they take the comic mythology and they use it as a starting point. They don't use it as a barrier of we're only going to stay in here. They take it as a starting point, and they're really good at putting it outwards. They're really good at adding new characters to the mythology.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the secret, I think, to its strength in bridging worlds.
We're really lucky to have a writer's room that is so malleable too, because I think Sam's character Mouse wasn't even supposed to last that long, and they just realized how good Sam was.
It was supposed to be 2, and then it became more. But it was they did such a cool. I mean, I feel like with Rachel's character in mind, the origin story and just the development. I think that's such a rich part of the season of the series, and for network television, I feel like it's a really intriguing route that they took that I don't consider usual on like a network TV show. It was so cool. Each week it was just always such a treat. Like, you were kind of in collaboration with the writers along the way, sort of developing this stuff, because you would do a scene and then they would see that and base something on, you know what I mean? And it would just keep going.
I love Sam's hair, right? Every time he goes like this, it's like,
it dances, I
know. Mary, thank you. That was a great question for us.
Very great name.
Mary.
And from Penstar Flight 458, was there anything about this incarnation of the Bat universe that really drew you in and made you want to embody these new takes on the classic Bat universe characters, assuming there was a previous version?
That's a great question.
This is maybe not exactly an answer to this question, but one thing that was so important to me that I do feel that we've achieved is, as a fan of Batman growing up, what I loved about it was the darkness of it, and not just the content itself, but the way that it's shot. And I that was really, really, really important to me. And I was quite worried in the pilot. Like, I just wasn't sure. You never know when you're filming something, how it's going to end up after it's edited and everything like that. And a lot of the other shows on the network are brighter, you know, in contrast to like Supergirl or The Flash, which are much lighter, and in terms of tone. And so I was really happy with how, you know, our director Marcos, just how he shot it, and it was so beautiful, and I think true to that universe. So that it drew me to it because I love that universe, but then it also made me so nervous that we weren't going to do it justice.
Yeah,
and I think we did.
Yeah, I'd say that, like, so a lot of these comic book shows are so much larger than life that I really love that for Batwoman we had a chance to and achieved having a much more grounded show. It still is very superhero-y and has that vibe to it, but it's nice that, like, it feels as real as this world could be. Also, Penstar Flight number 458, that's also my cousin's name. So, great question.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rachel.
every time.
Rachel's the most gullible person.
Okay, but also Cam and I have had some good discussions about names, and so it's like not that far off.
Really?
His name is Penstar Flight number 458. What a coincidence! That's crazy.
With the number sign too.
John Jacob Jingleheimer-Schmidt.
Elon Musk just named his kids a super out there name, so it's like not that wild. Not that wild.
Gracious. Sam, Nicole. Any ads? Hi.
You go, Nicole.
Okay. Yeah, I just tacking on, I think Rachel and Cam sort of put it really beautifully, but I really think what was exciting was that from the get-go, like, the trust that was put on us, which was scary, but also, you know, now having gone through one season, really freeing in a lot of ways, because I've been able to see there, you know, like us inject our whole personage, I guess, and takes on these characters and bring it into 2020 a little bit, and reflect and talk about things happening in cities and have fun, play, you know, either the villain of our dreams or, you know, or even the way Mary Hamilton speaks. I just find a lot of humor in her. And we've taken, you know, our own like spin on these pretty iconic names. And I think, yeah, what you're not going to get is sort of what you expect. I think at any given moment in this season, any character will really, really surprise you or be humanized. And I think that's a really cool part of watching it back. You know.
Hey, Cam, what are you eating there? You eating chips? You eating chips, mate?
During me speaking, like, thing.
Do you want to eat the whole bag?
Listen, we don't need to go back there. we don't need to revisit that.
A whole meal.
There's good, like, some crunching sound effects, like as Nicole's talking.
I muted myself.
He always does it to me.
Look,
he's always pranking
me. They call me Chip Cam for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Hey. I had to mute myself. I heard the crunches, and I was like, let me not step over her while she's speaking.
Oh, thanks.
Anytime.
Sam, anything throwing?
I think it's really cool that we were the first show that had played with a superhero being lesbian for the first time in history, and we made history. We made history. We were on a show that
Right.
We showed up to work, but I think that's really cool when you think about a 13-year-old girl who is able to turn on the television, who might be questioning their own sexuality, and seeing someone reflected back at them that they can admire and look up to, and that's a first. That wasn't we didn't grow up with that. None of us had that when we were coming to and figuring out who we were. So I'm very proud of that. I think that's really admirable about our show.
Very much so. I agree. Thank you very much, Penn Star Flight 458. You are free and clear to navigate. We hope you enjoyed your answers as we enjoyed your question.
Love you, Cam's cousin.
Love, cuz. See you Thanksgiving.
Jude, what's next? From Will. How do you think your character would spend their time in quarantine?
In the Batcave. Doing what he does every day.
He's been quarantining.
Yeah, he has no idea. Luke has no idea what's going on in the world. He does not leave the cave. Easy answer.
Alice and Mouse started the pandemic. Probably that was our fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mary is, I don't know, splitting her time between doing something probably very similar to all of us, and also she's working in that clinic. I'd like to hope she was trying to undo all of the damage that Alice just really.
I can see a clinic being a distribution point for masks and gloves to that side of town.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of medical shows donated the masks and the gloves that they had, like doctor shows and stuff, when this all sort of started, and donated all of those things that we use as props, but was in deep need for. And I thought that was such a cool thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Together, yeah.
Mary and Luke would probably figure out a cure together.
Yeah.
The tech schools and med schools.
I feel like Mouse and Alice probably would not be adhering to quarantine.
No.
I think
to be taking advantage of it.
I think they'd be taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Don't be like Alice and Mouse.
Will, thank you. That was a good one. What do we have next? From Christy. What kind of superhero or supervillain persona would you create for yourself?
Oh, I don't think I've ever gotten that question.
Mm-mm.
That's a really good one. What kind of superhero or supervillain?
Okay, well, like what? Okay. Like who will we be? Kind of thing. Like what kind of villain would we be?
Like
you guys have to do supervillains because you're superheroes, and Sam and I have to do superheroes because we're villains.
Okay.
Fair.
I like silent killers. I'd be that dude that just appears places and doesn't say anything. Like in those movies where there's always a mute killer, and then at the end of the movie they say one word, and you're like, they spoke. That's who I want to be, that person. They're right when everyone's like, what do we do next? How do we save the world? What do we do? I just go, the back door, and they're like, the back door. You're in the villain version of that, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can see that.
Clutching his pearls.
That's the name.
Okay, what kind of supervillain? I don't know. I would love to just be a James Bond supervillain and thwart said James Bond character the whole movie, super actiony. So maybe Dougray's part in Mission Impossible.
Dougray. You just want to be Dougray. Yeah.
Yes, I basically want to be Dougray. Let him know.
But I'd be I'd be like foster dog mom, you know, and I like got like every animal out of like shelters into foster homes.
So you be yourself right now.
Rachel is, I think my friend put it, Rachel Skarsten is the foster dog hookup. Like she's plugged in. She's like, if you need a dog plug, like
she a foster? I got a guy.
On the street, she's like, you need a foster.
During season 1, there was a point where nearly every person in the cast had a foster dog because of Rachel. And like you end up, you don't even realize that you're doing it until it happens. You're just like, why am I? I've had this dog for 5 days. And
it's like a run by foster drop. Like
that, you don't even know. You like go in a grocery store to get food and you leave with a dog that Rachel just slipped in your basket.
She does this thing where she's like, the dog should play in, you know, a trailer together. And you're like, yeah, of course. And then you're like playing and you're like, oh
no. So Sam, what would your superhero identity be?
I mean, I think I would just be really interested in playing like a normal person for once in my life. That would be a real stretch for me. Like, I don't know, like a really normal superhero, just a really like
normal Joe.
Normal Joe, like
whatever Joe.
Just normal things.
Well,
you know what? This reminds me of like the Lego movie or something. Like
there's a precedence for this in comics. There are several characters who just end up with powers and they don't want to be superheroes. They just want to live an absolutely normal life, but things happen and they have to suit up or intervene. And
they're called.
But Sam was like, but he's still on the team though. He's still there. Like, Super Sam, what do you do? I'm here for support.
Moral support, emotional,
like clapping on people in the background.
He's just saying, "Good job, you're doing
it." It's like need a pat on the back, a hand clap. Normal Sam.
Rachel's like throwing elephants in the air, like dousing the fire in this building. Sam's just like, "Are you okay? Can I help?" She's got that. Are you okay?
They're like, you could grab a hose and help, and he's like, no, I'll support you.
This is a tense situation.
Above and beyond. He just does like the norm, you know. Like he never gets you like a large coffee, just a regular.
Just regular, like as much as you need, not more than you need.
My taxes, like
his power manifests by a thumbs up, and it's really serious. He does the double thumbs up.
It actually would be funny. That'd be funny. Like Rachel's doing all the work, and everyone should be praising her. But when you turn around, and Sam's the one hugging everyone. He's just like, yeah.
And they're like, thank you.
Thank you, Super Sam.
What?
It's fascinating. I mean, I think you've got to patent this. This is amazing.
I know. We want to make like a spoof movie out of this.
Is Warner Brothers watching right now? I think we have.
I know.
We should make it in our spare time.
Yeah.
Like ourselves.
In quarantine.
100%. We could,
guys, you should tweet us if you want to see Normal Sam, the movie.
Yeah.
No, Normal Sam.
Normal Sam, and we'll do it.
The Zoom feature film.
Nicole will be next to the crafty table.
Oh, Christy, thank you for giving us the inspiration for this new venture we're all going to take part in. And a reminder to our audience, if you'd like to chat with our guests like I am now or purchase a personalized autograph picture, please sign up now at GalaxyCon.com. I think we have time for one or two more questions. So Jude, roll another one. And this comes from Katie. How do you think your characters' stories will change with the new incoming character?
That's a good question.
I
don't really know.
Yeah, that's the mystery of the next season, right?
Well, and that's the thing that I think sometimes people don't understand. Like they think we have like all the secrets of the next season, and we don't. Normally, we don't know that much of what's going to happen in the next season. And then even if they do tell us some things, as the season goes on, different things evolve. Like for instance, Sam staying with us. So my story as Alice might have been completely different, but then they loved Sam so much, so then it continues on in that direction. So yeah, your guess is as good as ours, Katie.
I hope Luke and the new character get along though. That'd be cool. I just want our characters to team up somehow. That'd be sick.
Yeah, we all know that I don't get along with anyone, so.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what's your usual ahead time for from when you get to a script to when you shoot?
The magic question.
Well, the thing is, like,
it depends on what episode, where we are. Every episode comes to life in its own way. Some of them have to be taken back to the drawing board and like broken down, totally something new. And some of them just like fly off and remain pretty constant. But I think we are used to getting a bunch of different drafts of scripts. So sometimes our scene drastically changed. Sometimes our scenes minimally changed. Yeah. And it's like all about rolling with the punches. But yeah, so it can be, I mean, Cam can probably tell you the most insane story of getting handed it and while he's shooting.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
That's the most extreme.
Tell the story, Cam.
Well, I mean, first of all, that's one thing that I like about TV more than movies, because I live for a challenge, and TV is so good at like, since we have to shoot so many episodes so fast, especially being hour-long episodes, you have to technically learn about 100 pages of dialogue per month. So we're shooting 50 pages of dialogue for those 8 days. It's only 8 days. And then as we're shooting it, somewhere halfway through, the next episode comes in, but you can't read it too early, because if you read it too early, the next draft might have different scenes. So like, it's always a constant like staying on your toes. So there was one day, I don't know whose fault it was. It was probably mine, but so the thing about Luke is that I'm really lucky where I can shoot a lot of my scenes in one day. And it's great because I can just like learn all my stuff and come to work and just be like, all right, it's me and the crew. We're going to do this. It's like me and the computer, and we're just going to knock them out one scene after another. So it was one of those days where I had like a scene with Kate Kane and then a bunch of just Luke scenes, talking to Kate Kane through the mic. And I come to set, and me and Ruby have 2 scenes, but we had only been told about one of them. Or at least I had only been told about one of them. So when I got there, I was like, all right, I have a lot of words today, but like it was like 12 scenes or something. But I was like, we're gonna crush this. We got this. And they're like, all right, let's go rehearse scene 8. And I was like, you mean 12? You mean scene 12? Because that's the first scene today. And they're like, no, scene 8.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I was like, so they gave me the scene, and I was like, and what sucked, it was the hardest scene of the day. It was 4 pages of just like, it was just tech talk. It was like the circumference of the diameters, a bunch of Luke smart talk. So, but again, I live for a challenge. I was like, listen, if y'all can like bear with me and give me 20 to 30 minutes, I got it. I just need to like. I feel
like the crew and the director kept talking about this like famous Cam Luke. And I was like, okay, well, like, let me see. And it was actually so impressive and so
Thank you.
Their minds were blown. They were like, yo, like, you don't even know, like, what we just saw was crazy.
No, like, it felt really good. Like, I was just like, because that's what we get paid to do. Like, that's our job. And I don't think people really realize, like, as an actor, like, we have hard jobs some days. And this is one of those times where like, listen, if you're going to hire me and pay me good money to do a hard job like this, then I should be able to walk away for less than half an hour and learn a hard scene and bring it back. And it was tough, but it was fun.
I feel like it's a professional athlete in that way. Like you prepare, you practice, and then obviously like game time, like anything can happen, right?
Yeah. And as you know, some days you come to set and you have learned a scene and they had to change it the night before. So you get a whole new scene. You just have to be able to change your whole brain and make the scene what it is.
Or sometimes your scene partner breaks all the props and the scene has to change.
That's true. That's only happened to me once, and it was Nicole. But
just like being in the, getting into the space, any preconceptions you have about a scene until you get into the space, which you normally haven't seen until, an hour before filming or whatever. It really requires you to be kind of unattached to a lot of outcomes for the scene. You just kind of have to roll. It really, I would say we can all agree that Batwoman is like a very roll by the seat of your pants.
No, fly by the seat, roll by the seat of your pants.
That's the main thing. I get
Fly by the
You
seat of
fly
your
by the
pants.
seat of your pants, and you roll with the punches.
Punches, yeah.
I support you, Sam. You got this.
You got it. We get it.
Everyone tweet Sam, roll by the seat of your pants.
Roll by the seat of your
So
pants.
that he never forgets
Normal
you said
Sam.
that.
Doing great, sweetie.
Oh wait, but Sam, do you have Twitter?
I've got like 2 followers on Twitter. Yeah, I've opened up my Twitter.
What's up that?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it just at Sam Littlefield?
I'm scared of Twitter. But okay, let's up that. I'm Sam Littlefield 6.
Okay, I'm gonna
Why?
actually why 6?
5 others out there.
Was there? Yeah, exactly.
Sam Littlefield 6. Okay.
Sam Littlefield 6.
But I will say, like, you know, our show in particular is like shooting a mini action feature film every week.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge undertaking.
Right.
Yeah. In addition to all of our scenes, like there are these insane action sequences and things that we have to be a part of. Now, me and Rachel have almost mastered being in an action scene together.
Yeah.
By the way, it's Sam Littlefield 4, just so we all know.
Oh no, I'm following 6.
Wait, is there
are
4
there
and a
those
6?
two?
I am 6. I'm 6.
I am.
Oh, I followed
Littlefield
4.
4 has your face.
Okay,
Sorry,
so
4.
maybe I'm both.
Which one
Wait,
should
guys,
we
we
follow?
got. We still got one more question. I want to get that in while we're doing this.
Actually, we're just about at time, so I'm going to thank Katie for her question, and I am going to say, GalaxyCon viewers, this has been the cast of Batwoman, and that was my time, but it does not have to be yours. If you'd like to get a chat with our guests or get a personalized autograph photo, please head over to GalaxyCon.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out our schedule of upcoming events like this one. But panelists, before we go, any final words for our audience?
We love you.
We love you. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for coming and joining us today. We love these excuses to get together and riff off one another. And if anyone has,
us.
if anyone has the answer, whether it's Sam Littlefield 4 or 6, let me know.
Yeah, let's keep this going.
Thanks for always showing us love, y'all, and also come through to DC Fandom. August 22nd.
Yeah.
22. It's going to be huge. It's going to be crazy. I got to, a couple of us got to see some of the things they're going to be doing, and it's like pretty mind blowing. So check us out. Check everything out about it. I don't know. I don't exactly know what's going on, but it's going to be dope.
Of course, thank you so much, GalaxyCon. This has been such a great way to connect with fans. Like, we all hope that we keep this going, but this was so fun. Thank you guys.
Yeah, for real.
Ladies, gentlemen, it's been my absolute pleasure to serve you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our audience. Thank you all for those great questions. Don't forget, on August 22nd, check them out. And also, we hope to see you all here later today for the casts of Lucifer and Invader Zim, and tomorrow, Sunday, for an all-Klingon cast panel from Star Trek. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please, as always, keep washing those hands.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.